All right, guys, it's almost here. Draft day is on Thursday, and every team out there is absolutely posturing, is doing everything they can to make the best trade possible, to make the best pick possible. The Jazz are just as active as anyone out there. What's real? What's not? What's going to happen? What we can be sure of is there's going to be a trade. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, I really want to get this video out because I know that something could happen at any moment. As of right now, nothing has happened. I could publish this video, and while it's publishing, a trade might go down. So what's going to happen with the Utah Jazz? What are my predictions? The big thing, let's just talk about it. What is the order of possibility of players being traded? I think right now for the Utah Jazz, the number one possibility for this team for a trade is for Mike Conley to be traded. And right now, as of right now, Bradley Beal just said he's opting out of his contract, which likely means he's going to re-sign with the Washington Wizards. We'll see what happens. We'll see if that happens. Things change every day. Woj was reporting that he plans to sign a big-time contract, which would make sense because he's going to get like a 5-year supermax. Everyone believes that's going to happen, although I don't know if everyone expected him to opt out, but it's probably just part of him wanting to sign a supermax. Now, the news with them is that they want to trade the number 10 pick for a veteran point guard. Veteran point guard. Who has a veteran point guard that might be interested in a number 10 pick in the draft? Who might that be? Well, I can think of one team, and it's the Utah Jazz and Mike Conley. If Mike Conley can go to the Washington Wizards and you can get someone back, if it's Rui Hachimura, if they're lucky, maybe, KCP, perhaps even just a hamburger or a ham sandwich. If they can send the number 10 pick to the Utah Jazz, I would be excited. That's my biggest prediction right there. That's the most sure thing that's about to happen, because what's going to happen next year is the Jazz have to give the reins to Donovan Mitchell if they're not trading him. And it just does not look like that's going to happen unless someone throws just like a crazy offer. Let's say the Sacramento Kings say, we want to give you 3-4 first-round picks, the number 4 pick in this draft, which would be Jaden Ivey most likely. Maybe the Jazz think about doing something like that, but not very probable. But the big thing is that the Jazz probably are talking with the Wizards, and apparently, if you listen to Jake Fisher, go listen to his podcast. There's a lot of noise with Mike Conley. There's a lot going on. I do not expect Mike Conley to be on the Jazz next year. I don't expect Mike Conley to be on the Jazz next week, because I think the Jazz are going to be picking at number 10. At least that's what I hope. Everyone put your Jazz hands together and just pray for that number 10 pick. All of you do it. Do it right now. Or just comment in the comments. One or the other. Like and subscribe. Do all of it. And that'll help him get the number 10 pick, okay? I can't explain the science of that, but it's what I want you to do, okay? All right. That's number 1. What's the next thing that's most likely going to happen? Let's go over here and look. All right, so this is the trade that we've all seen some sort of variation of, where Rudy Gobert goes to the Atlanta Hawks and the Jazz get back some sort of mix of Clint Capella, John Collins, either Kevin Huerter or DeAndre Hunter, and the number 16 overall pick. For a while there, I was thinking this was like a done deal, that John Collins was going to be on the Jazz. It sounds like this is kind of cooled off from everything we've heard. So Jake Fisher, this was from actually June 14th. Things change after 5 days. It sounds like those talks have kind of cooled. And this is a trade we've seen from multiple sources. We've seen Matt Moore talk about that. Jake Fisher, he's a guy that if you're not following on Twitter, follow Jake Fisher, because this guy is connected. And a lot of these GMs are talking to Jake Fisher and getting him to put these things out there. Sometimes that means some of these GMs just want to put that out there so people see it, other GMs see it, and maybe it ups the value or creates some sort of bidding war on a player. We'll see. And maybe that's what happened here, and nothing really came to fruition. It may be that this trade happens right when the draft starts. Maybe this is already locked in and ready to go. We shall see, but I think there's another trade that's much more likely. All right, so this is the trade that I think everyone needs to be paying attention to. The Chicago Bulls is the team that I think that is likely the team the Jazz are going to make a trade with. This was from, yesterday. Although the thing that made me most interested about this trade is that I've seen, like, from different reporters, Jake Fisher talked about Chicago, Kevin O'Connor has talked about Chicago, and we saw today Austin Horton locally talked about how the Jazz are actively looking for trade partners for Rudy Gobert. That is something they're actively doing. I think it's just a matter of time before the Jazz trade Rudy Gobert. And I think it's going to be more likely at some point going to happen because of all this noise. Like, is Rudy Gobert going to come back to the Jazz team and just be like, hey, loved seeing all the reports every single day. Freaking great. Wanted to send me Atlanta. Wanted to send me to Chicago. Wanted to talk about Charlotte. Apparently, we're hearing noise too about Minnesota. That's an interesting name. We'll see if anything like that happens with Minnesota. But this is the team I expect from him. If you go read Mark Stein and his Substack, you'll find that a lot of these teams, what's going on with Chicago is they know they don't really have an offer that's like straight up Chicago, Utah, that's going to make a trade happen. But what's going on right now is that Chicago is looking for a third team to get in on this trade. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think tomorrow before the draft, this is my little prediction. If I'm wrong, come back to the comments and flame me all you want. But what I think is going to happen is tomorrow we're going to see a trade with Chicago, but it's going to be a 3-team trade. And Utah is going to get back some amount of picks back, because that's apparently what Chicago is trying to do, is to get enough picks to give the Jazz what they want for Rudy Gobert, because this Chicago Bulls team needs Rudy Gobert. He is the guy that can change that defense. And with Zach LaVine getting his 5-year max coming up, this is a team you really want to watch. And this is who I would predict. All right, guys, that's all I've got to say. Make sure you let me know in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who do you predict the Jazz will trade with? Am I wrong? Tell me why. Like and subscribe to the video if you haven't already. And as always, shout out to all our all-stars. You guys are the ones that make this so much fun and awesome. If you haven't already, join the channel and support what we're doing here. I would appreciate it. I will talk to you next time.